Hello, cadets. Our lecture topic is Indo China relations. India China relations are among the most significant and complex bilateral ties in Asia, defined by a mix of cooperation and conflict across historical, political, economic, military, and cultural dimensions. Both nations, as rising global powers with ancient civilizations, share overlapping interests and deep rooted rivalries that make their relationship critical for regional and global stability. Now, talking about historical context, India and China have shared historical ties that date back over two millennia, rooted in trade and cultural exchanges along the Silk Road. Buddhism, originating in India, traveled to China, significantly influencing Chinese culture. Ancient travelers like Zhuozhang and Bodhidharma facilitated intellectual and cultural interactions. However, colonial and post-colonial developments strained relations. After India's independence in 1947 and China's Communist Revolution in 1949, the initial relationship was amicable with slogan Hindi Chini Bhai Bhai, symbolizing solidarity. However, territorial disputes culminated in 1962 in Sino-Indian War, where China seized Aksai Chin and ties turned adversarial. The war left a legacy of mistrust that persists, framing much of their modern relationship. Now, talking about territorial and border issues. The central source of tension between India and China is the unresolved border dispute along the 3,488 km line of actual control. Key contested area include first Aksai Chin, a strategically important plateau administered by China but claimed by India as part of Ladakh. Second, Arunachal Pradesh, controlled by India but claimed by China as South Tibet. Despite agreements like the 1993 and 1996 Border Peace and Tranquility Accords, border skirmishes and military standoffs persist. Notable incidents include Doklam Standoff 2017. India opposed Chinese road construction near Bhutan, leading to a 73-day military standoff. Galwan Valley Clash 2020. The deadliest confrontation in decades resulted in casualties on both sides and further strained relations. China's increasing military infrastructure in disputed area and India's counter efforts have exacerbated tensions. Efforts to demarcate the LAC through military and diplomatic talks remains inconclusive, with periodic violations deepening mistrust. Now, talking about economic relations, China is India's largest trading partner, with bilateral trade surpassing $100 billion in 2023. However, the relationship is skewed, with India facing a significant trade deficit over $70 billion. India imports electronic machinery and chemicals from China while exporting raw materials like iron ore and agricultural products. Post 2020, India imposed restrictions on Chinese investments and banned over 200 Chinese apps, citing security concerns. Efforts to reduce dependence on Chinese imports through the Atmanirbhar Bharat initiative are ongoing, but economic interdependence remains a critical component of their ties. Now, talking about strategic and geopolitical rivalry, India and China are locked in a strategic rivalry for regional influence. First, China Pakistan ties. China's close alliance with Pakistan, India's traditional adversary, complicates relations. The China Pakistan Economic Corridor, a flagship project of China's Belt and Road Initiative, passes through Pakistan occupied Kashmir, violating India's territorial claims. Second, Indo Pacific dynamics. India's alignment with Quad reflects its strategy to counter China's assertiveness in the Indo Pacific region. India opposes China's Belt and Road Initiative, citing sovereignty concerns and strategic implications. Third, military modernization. Both nations are investing heavily in modernizing their armed forces and enhancing infrastructure along the LAC. India has strengthened its alliances with Western nations while China has expanded its influence in South Asia and Indian Ocean. Now talking about multilateral engagement. Despite bilateral tensions, India and China collaborate in various multilateral platforms including BRICS, Cooperation on Economic Development and Global Governance Reform (SCO), addressing regional security issues G20, tackling global challenges like climate change and economic recovery. These platforms provide opportunities for dialogue and cooperation, but underlying differences often surface. Now, talking about cultural and people to people ties. Historically, India and China share a rich cultural heritage shaped by Buddhism. However, modern cultural and people to people exchanges remain limited. While Chinese students study in Indian universities and Indian students pursue medical education in China, political tensions have hindered broader engagement. Efforts to revitalize cultural ties through tourism and academic collaboration are yet to gain momentum. Now, talking about environmental and water issues, water sharing disputes add another layer of tension. The Brahmaputra River, originating in China as the Yarlung Tsangpo, flows into India, making it a critical resource for India's northeastern states. China's construction of dams and hydropower projects raises concerns about potential water diversion and reduced flow to India. Cooperation on climate change and renewable energy offers a rare opportunity for collaboration, but progress has been limited. Post 2020 developments. Since the 2020 Galwan Valley clash, relations have deteriorated significantly. India has adopted a tougher stance, strengthening military deployment, restricting Chinese investments, and boosting domestic manufacturing. Meanwhile, China's continued assertiveness, including constructing villages in disputed territories, has further strained ties. Over 20 rounds of military and diplomatic talks have been held, but the border impasse remains unresolved. Now, talking about challenges in the relationship. First, asymmetric power dynamics. China's economic and military dominance create an unequal relationship. Second, deep rooted mistrust. Historical grievances and territorial disputes hinder trust building. Third, geopolitical rivalry. Competing interests in South Asia and the Indo Pacific complicate cooperation. Fourth, domestic pressures. Nationalist sentiments in both countries limit flexibility in negotiations. Now, opportunities for cooperation. Despite challenges, there are areas where India and China can collaborate. First, economic partnership, leveraging complementary strengths in technology and manufacturing. Second, global issues, joint action on climate change, public health, and sustainable developments. Third, regional stability, coordinated efforts to address challenges in Afghanistan and South Asia. The way forward, the India and China relations require careful management to balance competition and cooperation. Resolving border disputes through sustained dialogue and adhering to existing agreements in crucial. Confidence building measures such as disengagement along the LAC and joint initiatives on global issues can help rebuild trust, strengthening cultural and economic exchanges while maintaining strategic autonomy will allow India to navigate this complex relationship. In conclusion, India China relations are marked by both opportunities and deep rooted challenges. While their shared history and global influence offer avenues for cooperation, unresolved disputes and strategic mistrust remain significant barriers. A pragmatic and long term approach focusing on dialogue, mutual respect, and peaceful coexistence is essential for stabilizing this critical relationship. Thank you.